In a dramatic vote, Democrats failed to approve a bill that would have given aid to workers who lose their jobs as a result of U.S. trade deals with other countries. That comes despite a last-minute trip by the president himself to Capitol Hill to personally ask for support. Even House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi voted against the bill.
House leaders plan to vote again next week, but now there are big questions not only about the White House's trade agenda, but also about what clout they have left with Capitol Hill, and especially with their own Democratic lawmakers.
The White House dismissed the bill's rejection as, quote, a procedural snafu. There were actually two related bills up for a vote today. It can all get pretty confusing, but we have CBS Radio News congressional correspondent Steven Portnoy to explain it all.
But all these are remarkably dramatic developments and certainly confusing ones. But what we now understand is that while the first of three votes went to resounding defeat, House Speaker John Boehner hopes to have a do-over on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So while we earlier said that if the first vote failed, it would be game over for trade, it appears that's not the case, that they will try again sometime early next week to pass the measure that Democrats voted against 3-1, and Republicans also helped to defeat. The second measure, though, is more important, and that actually grants the president this fast-track authority to go and negotiate these free trade deals with 11 Pacific Rim nations. That actually passed 219 to 211. This measure that the House is voting on now has to do with the enforcement of various currency provisions. And now most Democrats, in fact, say it's not strong enough with regard to currency manipulation. But as you can see, most Republicans are voting for it, and it's already crossed the special 218 magic number threshold. So this measure will wind up going back over to the Senate to become law. It has some policy provisions in it that were added as sweeteners to bring Republicans on board. One of them has to do with trying to tie the president's hands with regard to immigration, so he couldn't use this fast-track authority to try to make promises on behalf of the United States about the number of visas, for example, that the U.S. would grant to foreign workers. And it also includes a provision that says the president wouldn't be able to make promises on with regard to climate change on behalf of the United States in this deal. This, again, has to go back over to the Senate side, but despite the incredibly dramatic and resounding defeat that we saw within the last half hour, it looks like Republican leaders are going to try to have another vote on that sometime early next week to try to revive it.